Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday special episode of Grooming by Daughters. We are back here again with you today here with Mansi Atre. She's been working with her own family business in 17 years, and she's working as a director for Nayasa. We also have Hiten sir here today, who has been the entrepreneur from last 28 years, and he teaches strategy for Global Family Managed Business Program. Hiten sir, over to you.
Thank you, Savina. Welcome once again, all the viewers. It's good to see you back again this Sunday. Again, as I say all the time, a different Sunday, a different program, a different participant, same mission. And that mission is at Asian Institute of Family Managed Business. And that mission is, can we prepare our daughters or daughters-in-law? Can we groom them in our own family business? And today we have a young lady. Her name is Mansi Atre, who has joined us. Welcome, Mansi, to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. It's been great to connect with you people and great to be part of this initiative. I strongly believe that women definitely should be a part of business more and more so. They have so much to contribute, and I think you guys are doing a great job over here. I'm happy to be a small part of it.
So I think the contribute is the right word, and that's where you have been an invitee to this program. And I think the viewers would like to know about how a woman can contribute to her business. So before we begin, I think it'll be good to know you have joined a family business with your husband. What had been that very early influence on you to do a business by yourself or join a business? What were those influencing factors?
So as a kid, I was brought up in a business family, and my dad was into heavy metal kind of industry, shipbuilding parts. So it was a very industrial kind of thing. In spite of that, he would always take me to the factory, take me to the units. So I was used to being around big machines and labor, and how to be around these industrial areas. And I used to love it. As a kid, I absolutely loved it. My second influence would be my Nanu, who was into importing machinery for confectionaries and foods from Germany. So he used to show us videos of amazing factories, state of the art. India mein wo time pe shayad such factories were not there, but really state of the art factory videos all the time. That was our pastime with our Nanaji. So watching all that, I always knew I was going to, it was not even just about business. I had this attraction towards manufacturing. I love machinery, big units, industry. So I was always attracted towards that. At the same time, my mom had always, she thrusted into me that independent success, it's very important that you work very, very hard and you are always self-reliant, which was very important to her. So from very early on, it was very clear for me, I would definitely do something in the manufacturing kind of space.
So I think, what we see, this is a common running thread between most of the people who have been invited on our show. And that's been that, they have been exposed to either their father's business or their nana's business very, very early in life, very early stage. And that is what actually excites them. What do you do currently in your business? What is your business all about? If you can just brief us, and what do you do? What is your prime activity?
So I would like to first make it very clear. I joined my father-in-law's business. Me and my husband almost around the same time joined my father-in-law's business. And we are into manufacture of plastics, plastic household thermoware goods by the brand name of Nayasa. And we are into metal, glass, all different kinds of things, but basically household goods. As of my part, I started off in business doing everything. As you start as an intern, I tried accounts, I tried HR, I tried going to the tool room where we make our molds. So design development. I tried my hand at sales, at finance came later, but most of these parts I tried. And currently, I think what I've settled into is majorly sales, finance, and marketing um, is what I look at. But overall, as a business, I think we look into everything. Expansion, what is the next thing to do? That would be pretty much most the key driving thing which takes up most of my time in today's day. So, yeah.
So you said sales, marketing, finance, and I think a bit inquisitive to know, sales and marketing predominantly has been a male-dominated area because it's all about go-to-market strategy, go-to-markets, on the field, on the move. How do you manage sales and marketing?
So, as rightly said, you very rightly said. So when I first joined the business, my father-in-law was not Papa. I'm going to be calling him Papa. So he was not very clear about where I would fit in. He did know that I had worked before coming to business. I had worked in the US, and I have a good design background because I came from, I had done my architecture. But he was not quite sure. And typically, as most fathers would think, he was more comfortable to start off with HR or inside office things like accounting and stuff like that, so that I would be in a more secure environment. What I realized soon enough is that was definitely not my key strength. My key strengths were sales and design development, mold making, more industrial, more going to the units, more going to the factory. And I'm a very outdoorsy person, so I really like going, meeting people. So I started off with sales, and he initially told me, "Ki, acha beta, you like sales." So we, us time pe when I joined, we didn't have modern retail, like we never did modern retail or institutions. So he said, "Okay, you can try out Big Bazaar और ये सब अभी नया नया खुल रहा है, एक आध खुला है कुछ, तुम देख लो होता है क्या." So that was an entire vertical in sales. That was my first all on my own project, which my entire vertical in sales I started handling. And I loved sales. From there on, there was no looking back. I developed the entire modern retail vertical. Then there was the institutions. Then there was, I also started looking into the local sales. I would travel and travel a lot for sales as such. And it's extremely challenging. Sales is extremely challenging, but it's the most satisfying because it kind of gives you results. You are in a department which is earning the company money. So it's very satisfying. At the same time, because I was so firmly involved in the design aspect and all the new product designs. In fact, when I joined business, we had two brands, Nissan and Plast. My father-in-law had two brands. And after joining, me and my husband launched this new brand, Nayasa. So it is literally our baby. So in 2005, we started this brand. We introduced new products in this brand, and we grew this brand, a company as a whole. So getting the new brand, setting up the new brand was a major thing. And when you develop new products, when you develop something for the local market, you need to know the market. So till you're not doing sales, till you're not out there in the market, you don't know what to make, because your product will never be successful otherwise. You need to be out there talking to people, seeing what people need. And that is what the design basically pushed me into sales, and then the sales pushed me into design. So they complemented each other to a great extent.
So I think what challenges did you face in sales? Because you said that you would travel a lot, you will go and meet distributors. What are those typical challenges as a woman that you must have faced in sales?
See, now, as I said, sales are multiple types. And if you see modern retail, you would mostly have corporate customers, corporate kind of people, which are really great to deal with. And it's very easy to deal with. What the women or girls, I would say, young girls would generally get scared of is a local distribution channel, which is extremely male dominated. My entire sales team is male. I have had distributor meets and retailer meets. I have had it in North. We regularly have them in the South, in Telangana and stuff. Every single person, if there are 300 people, there are 300 guys and I'm the only girl, always. But it is a standard. They know I'm there. So it was never a difficult space to be in because I was used to being in factories. I was used to being around, professions which are extremely male dominated. But it was a funny thing. You could say it was a very interesting thing. It was interesting for them to see a lady come and speak to them about distribution, speak to them about products, speak to them, about कि ये महीने का कितना सेल हुआ, ये महीने का क्या है, आगे का क्या टारगेट है, कैसे है. So I think it got they took a little time to get used to it, but I wouldn't say I had any apprehensions or anything ever communicating with these people. I would like to add actually a couple of interesting things because distribution, when you say, it's like my heart, so I can go on. Some of the very few quirky and funny things which girls, as a girl, when you go around the length and breadth of India, places like you go to Ranchi, you go to Rajmundry, you go to Ludhiana, you go to Bangalore, and Hyderabad, everywhere. And if you go to the local market, going to the local market is going to each and every store. So you have your sales guy with you. And then if you are in Rajouri Garden, you're going to go to one shop, then the next shop, then the next shop. And it's hard work because there's sun, it's raining sometimes, there is kichad. It is like slumming it out practically. Plus at the same time, sadly in India, there is no access to good restrooms.
Right.
So girls find it very difficult, even when it comes to hygiene or anything, to do actually a sales job. And I think that is one of the main reasons why it's such a man dominated or a guy dominated job, simply because we don't have the infrastructure. But as I said, I did it. I still do it. And if you have the will and if you are ready to, let go of hygiene a bit, I would say, I think it's a very doable job and it's extremely, extremely interesting. And you meeting your customers and just talking to them is exhilarating. So that the joy that would get you is like you can't compare it to anything else. So that is always a very, very interesting thing.
I think a very interesting point for all of us, as a society, which you've raised is, do we have the right infrastructure which can actually facilitate a woman into business? Yeah. And I think this is something new. It is Nayasa for this program. Okay, it's something new, right? It's something new that you've put in. You also mentioned that you, along with sales and marketing, you handle finance. And when we talk of finance, finance would mean dealing with stakeholders like bankers, government stakeholders like income tax. Have you been dealing with all these departments? And if yes, how do you do this?
So this has been a very recent development. I think I was always aware. So one of the very important things when you join business is, and as a head of business, when you plan to rise to being the CEO, CFO level, even if you mainly handle maybe marketing or sales or whatever, you need to have the reports of every department in your hand. So I always looked at finance, I always looked at departments, but since last 4 years, I would say I've been actively speaking to bankers, actively, interacting with them, which is also, which is refreshing. And I have to say, which is very, which again is very different for a woman in business to do, because when it comes to bankers or officials, it's a lot of entertaining them. So you have to take them out for dinners and you can't always have your husband with you because he might be traveling or he might have other things to do. You can't always say, okay, you're going to be with me. So means at a professional level, um, entertaining these people, getting to know them, speaking to them on regular basis. And as a culture, lot of businesses will look at daughters, they want them to be in business, but to give them so much freedom that you actually, to run a business, this is what is required. Finally, finance is one of the main things. And when you talk of finance, it means to take that extra step out of your business, to talk to other people, to see what is the new thing to do, where are you going to get the money from, how are you going to build the money. And that is what is the key. That is obviously the key to every business. And I think I have been really satisfied and happy that, with my slow progression of learning in my own business, I have finally reached a place where I was able to set up departments and have people handle them so that I can remote control. I have kind of a remote control, and then go to the next level and look at other things, which it's a learning process. I have to say it's a learning process. And
So any specific incidents that you can think of where, you had to go and meet a government official or a banker, and something that you would like to share to the viewers?
Sir, government official will be not something I would like to, as you know.
No, there's a reason why I specifically am asking you this question. There have been quite a few students and participants who have been inquisitive, especially the women participants into the program, who have been quite inquisitive about, my husband or my father-in-law doesn't allow me to go there, doesn't allow me to talk to them. Okay. And they say it's not a safe place. Now you are somebody who has been there, done that, right? So I think it'll be good for them to know how have you been handling this particular side of business?
So most of my experiences has majorly been with finance. So what you would do, or what I, I, I do, or normally you would do in finance, is try and meet up with as many as bank authorities as you can, and try to understand the structure of what structure they have in the banking system. Try to understand what schemes they have, what kind of money they could leverage, and all these things don't happen in office. If you're going to meet, if you need a loan and you go to the bank, you're the needy one. So this doesn't happen when you need it. This has to happen when you don't need the loan, and then you go to any bank. So we bank with a couple of banks, and you go to them and you speak about your business growth. You speak about their bank growth, because currently the banking sector is also going through up and down. So what is happening and how much funds they have, what government is the government doing anything for MSMEs. So being in touch with these people is extremely important. You could miss out on getting some really good rates, and I have known businesses paying very high interest rates when it's not necessary. All that is needed is just to go out and talk to these people. Like, you really need to go out and talk to people at every level. In the credit department, whether it's in the loan department, whether it's in the back office, just know them, go out, speak to them.
I take your point, Mansi. The reason why I'm more keen for you to answer on this is that, how do you take care of your safety issue, into inverted commas, safety issue? How do you take care into inverted commas of your dignity? Have you faced any such situations when you've gone to a government department, you have been dealing with somebody, and maybe you have gone through certain experiences and the way you've dealt with it? I think this is something most critical.
Yeah. So yes, safety becomes a very big issue. And I would also like to tell you, when it comes to distribution, and I told you I go to all different places, length and breadth of India. I would like to put it in inverted commas, I do not do Bihar and UP. Because I will do everything, but even my family says, and I do believe, some places are not safe as yet, and I would love to do the markets. But if they're not safe, they're not safe. When you meet any official, when you meet any government official, meeting in the government office is great. So you would always meet in the government office. Otherwise, it's always best to have your sales head, your marketing head. I would always have my secretary. I would have someone with me. It doesn't matter if you need to have a private conversation. The COVID times, so sadly, hotels are not open, but otherwise, coffee shops. It's always great to meet at public places.
Perfect.
It is great to have someone with you at all times, and obviously safety is a matter, and family is going to be worried. Tomorrow, if my daughter goes alone to some market, I would be worried. That said, if I know my salesperson is with her, or she is with someone, then I would be pretty, and that gives confidence to the family and to me as well. It's important. Safety comes first, as they say. It's always very important.
Right. Well said. Who do you think has been your true mentor in terms of business, in terms of your business development?
I think the person who taught me and my husband business has absolutely been my father-in-law. In fact, my father-in-law is a very, sadly we lost him last month. So may he rest in peace. But he was a very unique individual, and you would rarely see people like him in the business community. When me and my husband were going around, he actually saw potential in me that, okay, this girl can join my business and she can work in my business. He gave me an official offer that you should come and join instead of working somewhere else. And he actually kept it open. He said, come and join, try it out. If you don't like it, you can work somewhere else. But first, I want you to join business. He also made us study. He made me do polymer technology at UDCT before getting married, so that when I get married or before I got married, I could join business. And he has mentored us step by step in business. His style of mentoring was amazing. His style of mentoring was basically, he would just leave the department to you, show full trust, let you make mistakes. And we did make mistakes. We did make mistakes and learn from them. But the beauty was he could have stopped us. He didn't. He let us make our small mistakes and learn from them. And a very independent style of managing, like giving independence to others. He literally let us make our own decisions. It reminds me of a very cute story, actually. This was, he retired almost 6-7 years back completely from business. And sometime before that, 10 years back, he had said कि अभी तो मैं retire हो गया हूँ, अभी मैं office आता हूँ पर मैं कुछ काम नहीं करूँगा. So don't, I'm just coming here for time pass. I'm just coming here to watch TV, he would always say. And we used to think he's just saying that, and you would get a sales. So I got a sales call, and I had some price finalization to do, and I didn't know how to say no. I didn't want to reduce the price, but I didn't know how to go about it. So I was like, नहीं मैं तो कर दूंगी, मैं तो बहुत अच्छी हूँ, मैं तो कर दूंगी. पर क्या है ना, वो विजय भाई नहीं मानेंगे. आपको पता है विजय भाई कितना स्ट्रिक्ट है, वो नहीं मानेंगे, इसलिए मैं नहीं कर सकती. Now this guy calls up पापा कि आप रेट कम कर सकते हो. He's like, कौन सा रेट, मैं तो अभी बिजनेस में हूँ ही नहीं, मैं तो, he's sitting in the cabin next to me, so it's not like he's not in office. मैं कुछ नहीं देखता, अभी मैं घर पे रहता हूँ, बच्चे देखते हैं, जो रेट फाइनल करना है फाइनल सब कुछ मानसी के हाथ, मतलब if you're dealing, if the department is mine, फाइनल सब कुछ मानसी के हाथ में, आप उसी से बात करो. And I heard that and I'm like, why would you do that? He's like, someday you have to learn. Someday you are not going to have my backing to say ki, push it on to me. Someday you're going to be like, no, you have to be the bad person at the end of the line. And there's such cute things. He literally thrust independence upon us. You could say that. So a great boss and an absolutely amazing mentor.
Interesting. Someday you have to learn. And yes. I think it reminds me of another person we interviewed sometimes back, and her father said the same thing, that, it's like bungee jumping. I let her make a mistake, but I know that the rope is in my hand. She's not going to fall on her face, right? So again, I think similar thing, but this time with a father-in-law. Very interesting.
Yes.
How would you look at your parenting to your son, or alternate at the same time, how would you look at your own brought up from your own parents?
Both. So for me, my mother was also a working mother. Although she started working much later when I started going to school. Initially, she was at home, and she was she had an amazing career, and I always looked up to her. I was like, oh my God, my mom is so smart, and she is smart. She is extremely smart and so intelligent. So I always wanted to be a role model for my kid. I wanted that I should do something that my son would be proud of. At the same time, I think being in a family business and being a mother is complementary. It's being in a very, very good space. And the most beautiful part about it is you can work from home. So even when you're pregnant or you've just delivered, you can always coordinate everything. You don't really need to be cut off from business. You can always be in touch with your business. Secondly, you have flexible timings, so you can be there for your kid in case of emergency, in case of everything. If you're in a job, you don't have that flexibility, but in a family business, you can always be there. And as long as the kid understands that you're there when he needs you, he will let you be and work when you need to work. So he understands that mama is doing everything to be with me when I require. So I'm going to give her time when she's. Plus, having support at home is absolutely key. My mother and mother-in-law have done an amazing job of looking after my kid and bringing him up to the child he is today. He is 13 and 8th grade, and I think he's a very sorted kid thanks to both of them who have looked after him very closely. At the same time, I would say, although in the initial years when he was a kid, I didn't get much time to spend with him because, you know, we were also new in business. And as I said, I still didn't have the remote control. I didn't have people set in my departments who would take care of it. So in the initial years, I feel I didn't get as much time with my kid. Although now in his pre-teen years, which according to me are really important to see where he's heading and what is his thought process, I try and give more time and, you know, more involved, try and get him more involved in business like my parents did for me. If my dad took me to the factory, I love to take him to the office. I like to involve him in my work, which I think really works well.
Wonderful, Mansi. So I think some very important points coming out from this discussion. And the first and foremost, as a society, is when a woman wants to work in a workplace, the first and foremost is are we able to create the right infrastructure in terms of sanitation and hygiene? I think this is something very important. And most of us as a society, we ignore this part. Something very interesting again is here we have a lady who has been extremely supported and mentored by her father-in-law to get into the business. And now Mansi raises a very, very interesting point that family business is very, very good and very useful, especially for those who are mothers, because family business is something which gives you a convenience to move out of your business to take care of your child and back to your business, which an outside job may not. And she largely credits her entire child's development to her mother and mother-in-law. And that actually brings us to another very vital role that a woman plays. A woman plays as a mother or as a mother-in-law. So thank you, Mansi, for being with us. But on this note, on the note of mother and mother-in-law, next week, we are going to have somebody who's a matured woman who's going to come to our show. She is 50-year-old and she is a mother-in-law. And how important is her role in business is something that we are going to listen to. And before we end this session, I would like to share the screen. Sabina, can you give me screen sharing, please? All the viewers, we are at Asian Institute of Family Managed Business. And here we are trying to take this single point agenda, which is grooming daughters in family business.
Sir, done.
And what you can do is you can reach us at Asian Institute to Miss Sujata Roy, and her number, you just give me a minute. And you can see the number on our screen. Alternatively, you can log on to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/groomingdaughters. Like our page, and the moment you like our page, you'll be updated about our next event. So all of you, all the viewers, thank you for being with us. And we hope to see you soon. Next Sunday, same time, 5 p.m., same agenda. And thank you, Mansi, for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was